We left off with last time. Okay, just a moment. Anyway, so something about what can you say about the teeth inside the oral cavity for mammals? What about them? I do believe we talked about that in class, whether it's anything from a zebra to a horse to cattle to big cats to bears that you had seen as well. I heard molars, I heard canines, what else? You have incisors in there, and bicuspids, and those are your 4 types of teeth. But the main point is they're adapted for whatever their diet is. If there's no need to have that type of a tooth, that animal will not have it, because herbivores, like anything from elephants to giraffes to cattle, do they have bicuspids and canines? No, there's no need for them. So if there's no need, they don't have that. Also, when you look at the jawbone, is it in 1 or 2 pieces, do you think? Okay, now, you got to keep in mind what can be confusing, okay? When you're looking at the skull, whatever opens up in the oral cavity, that is the jawbone. Is that 1 piece? It's not the maxilla, right around the nasal cavity. It's the piece that moves. Is that 1 or 2 pieces? It's actually 1. It's a single jawbone. You might be asking, well, that's a silly question. And maybe you would agree. But when it comes to that of snakes, do they swallow prey items that are about their size, smaller than their size, or much larger than their size? Like, you can even think of the garter snake as an example, and they prey upon mice. How is that possible? The mouse is probably 3 times bigger than their entire head, skull even. But what happens is as their jaws open, okay, not only can they open extra wide, but they got 2 jaw bones that actually opens up this way too. Plus, they don't choke over the prey item because they have an extra tube sticking out of there. In other words, their epiglottis, so that no matter how big their prey item is, they don't choke over that. When it comes to choking, you just leave that up to the Vikings, right? Yep. I know. Sorry, I couldn't help that. I like Minnesota too, but they choke. All right. Okay, is this about where we left off with? I don't think we're quite this far. No, I know we aren't now. Okay, here we go. Okay. Yes, that single jawbone, okay? And whether it's eating flesh in chunks, like alligators do, like we said, just some species of reptiles just swallow their prey item whole. They really do not chew. You might be thinking, birds tear flesh in chunks. That is true. But if they're tearing it in chunks, does that mean that they have teeth? That is a trick question. Do birds have teeth? What do you think? Do birds have teeth? They do not, okay? And if you've had that opportunity, I know people have been talking about that on, do you call it Madera Avenue, if that's what goes straight north past Jerry's Electric going into Brookings, or you just say Old 77, how do you refer to that highway? That's what you call it? Okay, and then what is it, maybe 2 miles north, and then on the east side of the road. As you're going north, west side of the road, sorry. Going north, look to the left or to the west. There's that waterway there. Does that have a specific name? Does anyone know what I'm talking about? Okay. Well, we don't have to have the name of it, but in driving bus routes, every now and then go by there and you see bald eagles circling around there. But they are not there anymore. They're probably way up in Canada or Alaska even. But those are certainly animals that do this. So how do animals like hawks, falcons, and eagles, how do they tear flesh up in chunks if they don't have teeth? Yeah, their beak is a pointed razor bill structure. And if they don't have teeth, how do they break that item down, do you think? It's something in their digestive tract. Before it gets to the intestine, they have this structure that has a couple Z's in it. Maybe it's kind of tired because it's got Z's in it. Z's, get it? Mm-hmm. Is it Gizzard? Is that how you spell it? Gizzards, that's right. So what those do, they'll actually probably see them swallowing rocks, any type of non-food item they can get into that gizzard so that when it contracts, whether it's a rock or some sharp object, it grinds against whatever it is they've consumed. That is what breaks things apart, not teeth. Okay? So having this single jawbone and teeth for mammals that are specialized for what their diet is. Okay? So reptiles, many have teeth for grasping, not chewing, because they do not have a jawbone like mammals do. Not a single jawbone like that of mammals. Okay. Now, provided we get time, one of the aspects we like to do is crack a mammal open. Okay? That it's not that it does present problems, but in order to get into the thoracic cavity of these animals, you have to get past this cage. And what might that be? Think about that while you're writing. By about the time we get comfortable, it's almost going to be time to go again. I know. Well, dang it.
Did we miss anything important?
Oh, it's all important.
True.
Uh-huh. I would say take this off, but we got camouflage on. I can't see them. I just hear them, but I can't see them. Oh, well, there he is. Holy cow, where did you come from? All right. If you could just walk around quietly, I don't know if I would have seen you. I mean, just like a ninja. Are you okay back there? Sorry. Are you going to make it? Okay. All right. All right. All right. So these are the functions of what these teeth are, okay? So the first set is your incisors. Work like scissors, okay? Then after your scissors comes your canines, okay? Those do not tear, okay? They will puncture and hold on to their prey item, okay? then it's either premolars or bicuspids. I prefer this term because what is the function of molars? Do you think? Yeah, whether you are a flesh eater or whether you are a vegetarian, those molars for grinding materials. So when you say these are premolars, you're attaching it to grinding. No, these are actually for shearing, tearing. And for anyone who's ever inadvertently had their tongue to one side when they're chewing and it gets caught in between your bicuspids, you certainly know that. I think it's safe to say we've all been there. It happens. And your tongue can probably be sore for a few days until that pain subsides or it heals itself. So anyway, going back to whether it's the cats over there, we do that with the A&P class, or with that of mink. Those are closely related in size, but if you're going to crack them open, like what we do, it's tough to get in there. Why is that? Do you have health? Have you had that class yet? Okay. Whether it's humans or mammals, what is it that's right here that's tough to get through? Don't say bone. Yes, the rib cage. And then those ribs actually attach to a central bone. I don't know if you remember what that was called. Maybe you didn't go over it. It starts with an S. No. Ends in I think you might have said it. I don't know. My hearing's not very good. Except for when people say things they're not supposed to. And then, oh, I didn't know your hearing was that good. You ever heard of the sternum? Yeah. What's that? Oh, okay. So to get through that to the thoracic cavity, to the lungs and the heart, okay, certainly very efficient design for protection. Now, this is not the first time you've seen this word. What does dimetrodon mean to you? Right, that's where it came from, but the term dimetrodon meant two something. Yeah, two tooth. It was the first time you'd seen something of this aspect. So very, very early flesh eater that could actually grind and tear flesh from its prey item. Okay. Let's see here. I don't think we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so we only have about 6 left. Okay. Tomorrow, should we have the track meet, which I think you will, okay, you leave before this class, correct? Okay. So I think what we will do tomorrow is we're going to continue with this, but I want to get going on some of those mammalian orders as well. So I'm going to switch to that. So get to your order handout. Okay. Do any other orders feed on insects? Okay. Xanthara, that's right. And can you remember, what was a unique characteristic of that order Xanthara? Something about their back vertebrae. Yeah, their lumbar vertebrae. Okay. They are very unique. And what that is, it's a defense mechanism. Okay. Now, one of the things that we would think of if they're feeding on other animals, which they do, okay, why is it that they really don't have teeth in there? Okay, it says they lack teeth, but if they are a carnivore, which they are, how's that possible? We said something, was it starburst, whatever, chew on them, they go splat. Yeah. So, yeah, I want some gushers now. Okay. But regardless, clamp down on them inside their mouth and probably go pop, just like gushers do. Okay. So, yes, these feed on insects. Bats feed upon insects. And, of course, animals that are in the order Insectivora also feed on insects. Okay. The most complex of all, I almost said all primates, but no, of all mammals. Okay. They're not the only animals that have forward-facing eyes. Many carnivores do. Okay. So if they're forward-facing eyes, what does that mean? They can have depth perception. What type of vision is that? And this is your clue. Who can we pick on in here? It's too close. I can't see what you're doing. Who else can we pick? Who can we pick on? Yeah, pick on. Who do we pick on?
Whoa.
Where else should we look? Just point, see if I can go the right direction. Is that right? Oh, geez. Oh, it's a good thing you took that hat off so I can hear you talking. Okay. Yeah. Now where do we go? Oh, that's curly hair. Is that, oh, okay. Maybe it's not curly. I don't know. Oh, yeah, that's curly hair. All right. Yes, binocular vision. Is that kind of strange seeing someone stand up there with binoculars? It's kind of looking around. Is it? Yeah, maybe. I don't know. But as long as you're walking around in the woods, it's probably okay, right? Looking for birds. Yes, for bird watching. Okay? But in this case, okay, what can primates do that all other mammals cannot? Yes, whether it's grabbing things like this, because there's a way, because if you didn't have that thumb, it would make it much more difficult. It's possible, but as far as doing this, it's much more of an advantage. Now, combine that with binocular vision, it's probably an advantage to see where it is you're about to land, especially if you're 300 feet up off the ground. Because who doesn't like heights in here? Anybody? Okay, is the step ladder far enough? Okay, I mean, it's not for everybody. Okay. So anytime you have complex behaviors, you're talking about a large brain and probably problem solvers, and with that large cortex, you're talking about high intelligence. That's what I was looking for. Okay. Now, this is just one of the characteristics. Okay. Don't rely on this just being very prolific, because these are as well, because these are the most prolific. Okay. So having that double row of incisors, when you think about this, they're plant eaters, so it's just much easier for them to strip every piece off of whatever it is they're chewing. So now, as we're looking at the way the rest of the week unfolds, the vocabulary is due on Wednesday. Okay? Chances are some of you have it done. If it's done, it's one less thing to have to worry about. Okay? So tomorrow we'll continue with some of the orders. You can work on your vocabulary the rest of the hour. Plan on having a vocabulary evaluation also on Wednesday. And then I think everyone's here on Thursday, correct? Yes. Are we disappointed? I mean, probably not if it's going to be bad weather, but I think the weather's okay, but then the wind, of course, takes the temperature down as well. Okay, so that's all I have. We'll catch up to you next time.